Hello everyone. So today we're going to be doing some graphs in Excel. So here I have some data. This data that I've just made up. Um, it's just random stuff. Apparently I get a little carried away here with the feelings about math. Whatever, get rid of that. Now, what I've done is I just put it in a column like this. And this is how our data will normally be given to us in real life. It'll be, you've gone out and collected it. It's in a spreadsheet. It's messy. It's gross. And then you're going to want to do something with it and make a graph about it. So maybe you want to know what kind of pets these people have. Now you could just do this entire row like so, or you could highlight the entire row like this, and then you could try to go through and count it up. And of course, if a person did that, they could make a bar chart, or they could make a pie chart, or the different charts. But in reality, the best way to do it would be to highlight the entire shebang. Okay, we're going to do what's called a pivot table. It's very easy. We'll use them more throughout the course, but this will be our first one of them. So I go Insert Pivot Table. And this thing pops up, and you're like, cool, I guess. So what you want to do is grab pet, and grab pet again, and bring it to values. And so what it does, it goes through and counts up how many cats there are, chickens, dogs, ferrets, what have you. Okay. Now, what a person can do is they can make a bar chart out of this, or a pie chart. And the way to do that on Excel is just highlight it. You can do it a couple ways. You can actually use this pivot chart one. I don't care for it as well. I mean, that's doable. But I usually just go to the regular pie chart. Boom, done. Right click on that baby. Format data, or add data labels rather. Now right now it's the total amount, which is dumb. No one ever does that on a pie chart. On a pie chart, we always want it to be percentages. And there's a reason for that. Okay, we want it to be a percentage because that tells us how it's broken up. 56% of the people are dog owners. That's a big deal. The total amount doesn't mean as much to us when we're talking about pie charts. We want to know what percent of it's spent on this, or what percent of the people do this and that. That's what the whole point of pie charts are. Okay. So when that happens, okay, so we're done. We're good down to here. Okay, and we can leave this alone. Notice it says leader lines. People often wonder what that means. It means if you have a small pie like this, you can drag it out here where you can see it. It leaves those lines. But again, I'll just bring it back inside where it belongs for now. And then it said OK. If this were about eye colors and this was blue eyes, but it was colored red, a person can go and change the colors on these. It's kind of cool that way. Format data series. It's under here. Oh yes, here we go. Fill colors, and then you can change the colors, and you can do whatever you want. Let's see. Oh, yes, here it is. And you can change the colors. And oops, that happened. That just happened. So in the future, Jay, when you want to do that, Control Z that. Oops. I didn't want to do that exactly. So let's try that again. Again, add data labels. Right-click on the data labels. Format data labels. Make them percentages. Click off the values. There we go. Anyway, if you want to change the pie color, what you want to make sure is see how a whole pie is highlighted. If you click again, just the bottom piece is highlighted. Now, if you click on this right here, you can change the fill color to a different color that suits you. Alright? Yeah. Pale purple color like my grandma would like. Yay! And there it is. So, double click on this. You can change that chart title to something that's more descriptive. For instance, stop it. Give it to me. There we go. For instance, this is pet owners breakdown, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, so we can see how they what percentage of them own this kind of breed or that kind of breed. So you can also go to Insert and go to Column Chart, and you get you a bar chart. A column chart, or just a bar chart of these things. Now again here, now we're comparing. Wow, there's twice as many dog owners as there is ferret owners or whatever. That's kind of a neat deal. Some people like it. I don't. Some people like data labels. If you like, you can turn them on. It's up to you. I find that having too many different color schemes looks weird, but you can come up here and change the color schemes. You can change each bar individually if you like. But whatever you do, give me a title that makes sense. So again, this is the amount of pet owners you have. Okay. Alright, so I don't want to do pets anymore. Pets are boring. Let's do ice cream or something. So ice cream, ice cream. Now, highlight that stuff. Go again into here. Let's do a pie chart of ice cream. Pie chart of ice cream flavors. There they are. Data labels. Right click. Format data series. What am I doing? Let's back that up a minute. Let's try this. Format data labels. I'll do the other thing here in a second. You can see what I mean. Now, it's pretty cool because suppose you want to point out this 13%. This piece of the pie is important to you, for instance. What you can do is just do this whole pie. You can separate the whole pie. That's annoying. What you want to do is instead click on, no, not the label. Try again. See how I've highlighted just this piece of pie? If you click on it and hold it, you can drag it out. And sometimes for presentations, that's a big deal. Oh my word! 13% of the population likes maple nut. And and if this was how much is being spent on I don't know, let's say you buy coffee for the entire school district for the staff, that's great. But if 13% of the school district's budget's going to coffee, that's probably something you'd want to point out and probably fix that. Okay? Again, you change the title to something that's descriptive. Okay? So there, that's pretty easy to do. Some people, well, I shouldn't say some people, sometimes we like to make what's called a Pareto chart. And so, of course, I'll be mentioning that. We'll mention that from time to time. What I'm going to do here is as you can see, I just sorted them. Okay? And I could sort this anyway. I could copy it. Actually, I'm going to copy it, put it up here. Do it up here. I feel like doing it up here instead. But notice I pasted it as values only. That's important. Because what I want to do sometimes, oftentimes, is what's called a Pareto chart. And a Pareto chart, it sorts them from highest to lowest. Oops. I did it backwards. So let's try that again. But I go from largest to smallest. And so all it is it's a bar chart, column chart like this, that has been organized from tallest to shortest. That is, there's no real order that you would do these in other than the fact that, of course, most of us like chocolate ice cream, but whatever. But you would, because there's no real order, that is, they don't go in numerical order. Instead, we'll do them in order from highest to lowest. This is what's called a Pareto chart. Now, how is it really different than the other bar chart? If not really. Okay, these are all categorical data. Okay, but that's just something that is often referred to in the statistical realm, and that is a Pareto chart. Give it to me. There you go. And so ice cream flavors, or preferred ice cream flavors, or something that is somehow descriptive. Okay? And this thing here, I don't like it, so yeah, get rid of it. That's cool. Again, change the colors up. If you think blue strawberry ice cream looks goofy, then you're more than welcome to right-click on it. Change the fill to something that is more, well, strawberry-ish looking. Notice how what's happening here is I've highlighted every single bar. Now it's just this bar is highlighted. Now it's just strawberry. You know what I'm saying? So you can do that. Just be aware if you get too busy, it takes away from the graph actually. Okay. Now I'm going to pause for just a moment. So here I've made up some data that goes by year. Think about the things that we track over time. For instance, how tall a child is, weights, populations, infestation amounts, I guess, which is technically a population, I guess. Stock market figures, how much money you've earned over the years. Anything like this is what's called a time series graph. So we say we want to record it over time. And so that's the idea of time is going to be my x-axis. Now we can do this two ways. You could do a scatter plot or you can do a line graph. Now it's going to be a line graph, but for God's sakes, don't do this one. Do it this way instead. Now you can use one of these connected ones. It doesn't matter which one. I kind of prefer this one, but any of the connected ones work. What you see is it needs to be a connected line graph, but by doing it with a scatter plot, that means this x goes with this y. If you'd done the line graph, what you'd end up with a graph for these guys as y values, these guys for y values, and each of these y values would have gotten an x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, which is annoying. But if you use the scatter plot function, it'll actually come out like so. Now again, I chose to use the connected one that had the pointy parts on it, if you will. But you're more than welcome to choose this one that's a little more rounded like. I don't like it as well. Or this one here, which doesn't point out where it changed. Okay, but it's up to you. If it's me, I like this guy here. Well, you can use that one too. I just like this one here. Okay, that is, we treat it as if it was linear, boom, and it changed, boom, linear, boom, 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 boom. That to me is the way to do it. But you're welcome to do it any way you like. Okay, so this is the population over time. Things that I noticed here that it was from 60 to 70 was pretty well, plateaued, didn't really do anything. It kind of reached a maximum here in 1990, and then it dropped off again, and then it started increasing again. Things that you can pick out by this, if the trend was, if it was something like this, and then, and then, and then, and then, whoa, Jay, it really dropped off. You're right, it did. And why? Because back in the 70s and 80s, it was really bad for whatever. If this was the population of some certain town, but like during the Depression or something, and this had been during the Depression, you could point to, wow, look at that population really dropped off during the Depression. 70s and 80s, that's not what happened here. Now, notice how I changed the values. The thing auto ranges. If you right click over here, you can actually change it. So our minimum goes down to 0 right now. That seems goofy. Like 500 seems like it would be plenty low. Just be aware that when you do that, we can arbitrarily make it bigger or, make it look worse or better based on how we assign these values. Oops. What just happened? Oh, because I went to, no, here, get rid of that. There we go. No. Oh, look at that precipitous drop. Well, okay. It is precipitous looking because it is a change of 500. Or 400 rather. Okay, and I could have made it look even worse by making it go from 600 up to there. I could have also made that go away by simply going from, let's go from 500, let's go from 600, our lowest value, up to, let's say, 3,000 or something. Look at that, there's 0 change at all. So be aware of that. That is a way to trick a graph and make a graph say something it's not really saying. And we'll go on from there. So there it is. Boom, boom, done. Okay? So that is the idea of a time series graph. All right? And that pretty much takes care of our graphing for those 3 graphs.